we are in this together.
You have gifts that I don't have, and I have gifts that you don't have.
That we must see. Now is the time, because it's when we all get together that we will make the changes that we must make. We are the world.
Welcome to Malcolm and We, heard on malcolmpresents.com. And today we have the honor of having Tumani, what is it, Fasso? From Tanzania.
Yes, Tumani Fasso.
Yeah, from Tanzania. And this is Malcolm Berman, your host, and your co-host, Yana Larson. Yana, why don't you do a little background on Tumani?
Oh, sure. Well, we're very happy to have my good friend, Tumani Fasso from Tanzania. And he is a member of our We Can Tanzania team in Africa with our We Can project. We Can stands for We Change Agent Network. And we have many teams in Africa. And we're very happy that Tumani is leading the team in Tanzania. Tumani is he's an amazing person, and he wears many hats. He is he's a father, and he is the leader of the team, as I mentioned. He is a humanitarian. He is an activist. He is an environmentalist, and so much more. So welcome, Tumani. Thank you for being on our Malcolm and We episode this week to talk about what is going on in Tanzania.
Tanzania. I always can't pronounce it Tanzania.
I know.
Yeah.
Tumani,
Sure.
your picture is out.
Yes, I was in order to make the stable connection. So I bring that in order to make the connection stable.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, you're here now. We see you. And yeah, like, where should we start with what all you do? My goodness.
Well, I'm interested in your background, your schooling and how you were raised, and then we'll get into your work. But I'm more.
I have to add something
Yes,
here.
thank you.
Tumani met Dr. Jane Goodall when he was a young man in school with her Roots and Shoots program. Tell about that, Tumani. That was probably your entrance into the world of environmentalism.
Thank you, Jana. Thank you, Malcolm. It's a pleasure to host me from Tanzania, but also is a chance where we can share what the world is doing from southern part of the world. But also, I'm very happy to meet you today. As Jana mentions, my name is Tumani Fasso. I am a father. I am a teacher. I am a Christian, but also I'm a climate change activist. I'm a peace builder. So, but also I'm a ambassador to different organizations which relating with the kids. So it's very happy to be here. I do remember when I was a kid, like what I used it to save nowadays. When I meet Dr. Jane, I was a very little boy. Is on 1990s, I hope so. And Dr. Jane visited on our school in Kigoma region, very close with the Gombe National Park, where she runs studies on chimpanzee. So when she visited our school, she inspires many things on how we can conserve environment, on how we can be good friend to our Mother Earth. From there, I start to be a student of the Dr. Jane Goodall until now I'm old enough. So to meet Dr. Jenny on, I think it's 1996 or 1997, is the time when I start to be a person connected with the conservations, but also as a person to be connected with the peace building, peace day celebrations. So all these have been inspired with the speech from Dr. Jane when I was a kid. So it's a moment of love, it's a moment of learning, but also I think it's a moment of planting seed on my heart when I meet Dr. Jane during that time. Thank you.
That's such a good way to say it. I remember when you were telling the story, she was having you all sound like chimpanzees.
Yes. So that time, Dr. Jane was not only like this right now. She was still powerful, and she was a woman not more old like now. She have a lot of energy, and she tried to cry like chimpanzee. And many students at that moment laugh and become very happy. And from that point, I can tell you, many young in that class are now running different conservation groups, different NGOs. So we believe the inspiration start there. Yeah.
What a great story. Yeah. So then where did you go? Talk about your education. You have a degree.
Yes,
And
yes. I start my primary school on 1995 in village side with my grandmama or grandmama. And then after that one, I start primary school in Mara regions, which is very close with the Lake Victoria. And then I moved from that village to go to live with my father in Kigoma. My father was a civil servant. So I got there to live with my father. It was on 1966 when I got to standard 2. And then I complete my secondary education on 2021. On 2022, I joined to secondary school. So you can see from those in primary school on 1990s is when I become a member of Roots and Shoots until I complete the university study on 2011. So from there, Roots and Shoots become the part of my life. So, and I hold a bachelor degree of arts with education, which I'm implementing those what I learned in Bachelor of Arts Education as a teacher in public school. So I'm teaching geography in public school. And Jana, you are my student in Swahili language. So that's why I mention you, Mama Jana. Yes.
Yeah, see, they all call me with all the weekend teams in Rwanda, Burundi, and Botswana, and what am I leaving out? Uganda. They call me Mama Jana, and
Yes.
it's a term of endearment, and I love it. But also now I'm kind of like Grandmama Jana, because Tumani has a new baby named Ibrahim, and Robert, who we met last week, has a new baby named Deborah. And so the family is growing. And
Yes,
so yes, Tumani is quite the teacher, and he is teaching them a lot about tree planting and agroforestry. Really, they have trees that they have planted in honor of Papa Ricky, who is Rick Ovick of We the World. And it is the trees are growing, and the children all take great pride in watering the trees. And Tumani has started the tradition of green birthdays, for planting trees in honor of people, and then watching them grow. Tumani, you were telling me the other day that you have been working with the students, these very young students, in coding.
Yes.
Tell this story. This is just amazing to me.
Yes, in Africa, coding knowledge is a still new thing. and many students don't know how to code, but also even to interact with the information technology at all. So many schools, we don't have computers, we don't have tablets, but also we don't have, all in all ICT devices like what I mentioned. So from there is when I think, how can I connect the student I teach with ICT? How can they become the future engineer? How they become a problem solver? Because the world we are in now is to be with the expert or to learn computer issue is non-avoidable. You cannot avoid it. So from there, I start to find that people can assist me, and I'm happy I meet with a certain professor from Nelson Mandela Polytechnical University in South Africa, where he sent me a tokens. We call code rangers coding. So these are unplugging coding. So it is very applicable in my location because we don't have computer, we don't have tablets. So it's very difficult to start to teach kids on using codes. But I find this become very suitable because we can code without computer, we can code without having a laptop. We only using smartphone, Android phones, and we download that application of coding rangers in application, and then we install it, we play codes, and when we start a simple stage up to the complex stage, starting was very difficult, but now I receive many requests. Many kids want to code in different school. Unfortunately, it's become very difficult for me to travel their rural school because Jana, no, I'm not living in a town. I'm living in a rural area. So it's become very difficult to travel due to the something like financial purpose to reach those rural school. But all in all, the kids are enjoying. And currently we start, or after we have been playing coding, I have been launch a special program which is called to connect girl to ICT. What we do here, we want this is a special class for the girls only, not with the boys. And why girls? Because in most African countries, those science subject is not a favor girls. So we want to start to install the habit the kids to like the science subject, to know what their fellow friends do. So from there, we start to register account for their own with the permission from their parents, or on LinkedIn, where they can meet with people in different professional. But also unfortunately, we don't have computer, but we use teachers' mobile phones. We can register them in different platforms where they can access different teaching and learning material. So this become very meaningful to these girls. And this celebration is normally conducted during is African Day Child. The African Day Child is when we celebrate these coding events. We celebrate Mandela Day by connecting it to code. As you know, Mandela was a very greatest person in Africa, but also in the world. He advocating about peace. And our target was also to connect MLK with the girls coding, but we didn't succeed, but we will celebrate it in any day, but to honor MLK Day in weekend team. But also we want to connect those days like Nyerere Day. Nyerere is the founder of our national. So we want to connect those Heroes Day with the girls' involvement on ICT. Yes.
Isn't that amazing, Malcolm, what he is able to do with very little? And it is very difficult to do because internet connections it's very expensive. They have to buy
Yeah.
what are called internet bundles, and it's very expensive. And not everyone has a computer, so that's a lot of reason why we're trying to get money to them. But still, they figure out a way It's
Do you
just
get
amazing.
local government support for your projects?
No. We don't get government support. This is support from different people. Government give us opportunity to reach those interior school, but also they give us permission. So it's a good opportunity. We don't get support at all, because giving us opportunity or giving us a platform to reach into those schools is a very big support. But these are our own support. For example, I use my own phone, my own mobile internet package to reach girls, even to buy those tokens from South Africa. Is not for free, but Professor Jean, after we meet, we share with him, he decided to donate those range codes to me. But it is sold there in South Africa. So it's very difficult to meet our dreams. And from there, I think I have something I will share with you after this one, or after in our talking. So we don't get any support from government, so it's just a personal effort.
You get support from the parents? I mean, not support, but do parents encourage their children to get the education, or they?
Yeah, it is something new. We thanks God we get support. Some parents support their kids. Please just take this subject and be patient with this. You can be a doctor, you can be a nurse, you can be medical biotechnic. So we get support from parents by giving their kids permission to attend our classes.
And any
Well,
difference between a male and female? Do they encourage more the male? I know in some countries they encourage the males to be educated, and the females, basically are stay home to be wives and mothers.
Yeah, and that's why in coding classes, in my coding classes or in my coding inspiration talk, we decided to have a special room for girls, because many people who can have access of internet informations are those people who have money, but also those people who have a financial power. So within African country, as we know, many women have not access on financial matters. So we involve kids, specific girls, in order for them one day to have those access, but also to like that job or which is provided within using ICT, but also to prepare them for the future. Because when we impact the knowledge of ICT for them, we prepare them for the future to be a good doctor, to be a good teacher, to be a good journalist, because nowadays you cannot be in any professional without using ICT informations or without involving coding issues.
Yeah.
something else that I want to bring up that I think really bears repeating, and it's another reason why I so admire Tumani and Dr. Robert Westajay from Uganda and Eric from Rwanda. Talk about men who are really leading the way and not exhibiting any toxic masculinity. They lead the way in helping the young girls, the women, have access to um, being able to have water and sanitary napkins for a very normal biologic event that happens to women, which is menstruation. And they lead the way in helping them be able to have the supplies so that they are not prevented from being a part of school and everything, and to help with disease. I just think it's incredibly amazing that these men are really helping to lead the way in this.
Yes, to respond on Malcolm's question, did we get support? From there, after meeting many challenges as a teacher, but also to be after meet with the people who inspire, who inform, but also involve, like Jana, Eric, Angel, Callum. So from there, we decided to register organizations whereby we believe within this organization, people who have a dream to support us, they can support this organization, and this organization can support kids in issues of sanitaries, in issue of connecting kids with the bee education. Bee, I think you understand. Bee, what I mean, insect bee, which produce honey, but also the organization will collect resource to connect kids with the conservations. So, and that's why we register organization called the Child and the Youth Empowerment Organization. It's called the CAYEO. Is a full registered organizations which will be working closely, sister and brother of We the World.
Yeah, it's to help with the recognition and legitimization of their what they're trying to do, so that by having registered organizations, they are able to, it will increase their ability to receive funds.
Yeah.
So,
How old are your students? What age do
Yes,
they start?
yes, pardon?
At what age do they start schooling?
Oh, we start school in our country. If you are 7 years, we start with 7 years. Within 7 years, you start to go to primary school. When you are 5, 6, you go to kindergartens, those baby class. But for me, I meet with the girls, boys with the 13 years, 12 years, because we meet with the girls and boys in a secondary school. I'm teaching in secondary school.
And is there a way to go to a college after that, or
Yes, yes,
there
and
colleges?
yes, we succeed. Even one of our member, when we start initiative of With the Worlds, nowadays we get our members. Some are in colleges, we inspire them. Other was not want to go to colleges. Other are now in advanced secondary school. And good news, last week, one of our friends who is of albinism have been elected to join in secondary school, and we try to support her because many people think she will not attend there, she will not go there. But we thanks God we support, and she now is in a school. I talked with her teacher yesterday. She's going well and
Good.
she's coping with the school, yes.
And do you teach mainly in English or Swahili, or what language you use initially?
Normally our language is Swahili.
Right.
Swahili is our national language. So when come to matter of English, is a language of learning in secondary. It's a second language in our country, despite of having many local tribal. In our country, we have more than 100 and plus tribals, but the one language which connects us is Swahili.
Is there any tribal friction between the various tribes? I know, as I was speaking to Robert last week, I know that basically countries are almost artificially formed by the European colonial powers, where basically the African governments, or the not the governments, but the African groups, are really tribal.
Yes, can you end so I can answer you well?
Yeah. Can I what?
So what is wonderful within our country, in our country we are living very nicely, people. We don't have any difference in tribes. We don't entertain it, and we don't consider it in employment opportunity, whether in social activities. You can marry any person from any tribe you want. So this makes us to be a very strong nation within Africa. We are very united, despite having many tribal, but we are living as a brother and sister, and this is the impact of Swahili language, because wherever you go to school, your local language become eliminated and you become the Swahili speaker. So despite having our local language, but Swahili remains as the strongest and the biggest language within our country, even in a local area where people, you cannot imagine whether people will speak Swahili, but people are speaking Swahili. And this makes us be very, very strong nation in East Africa, but also in Africa, having known as a center of peace, but also center of reconciliation of other nations. When they have their own fighting within their country, they come in our country, we sit together, we tell them, please sit together like what we are sitting, be friends.
I think we just lost him.
That's possible. Well, it's probably been a half an hour.
Excuse me? We've
probably-
been on 25 minutes, but a fascinating man. I don't know if we can get hopefully we can get him back on.
Yeah, this is what's so interesting about meeting these people in Africa. I was onboarding a new volunteer from Nigeria the other day, and so one of my questions that I've been asking lately is about the idea of volunteering. You know, is it you know, what does volunteering mean to you, and when do you think you started volunteering? And he said, you know, that's a hard question to answer really, because it's like a foreign concept, because in Nigeria, where he's from, everybody from moment one, they learn about working together and helping each other, and you know, working across age groups, and you know, of course, the young help the elders, and the elders help the young. It's like no, you don't have to think about joining an organization to help volunteer, because everybody just does it. It's just ingrained into their culture.
Yeah,
I thought that was really wonderful.
well, it's fascinating because you know, as a being from the U.S., we know so little about the culture of Africa. All we see is what we see on the media and TV, or you either see the big cities, or
Right.
or the
And
tribes.
you're overwhelmed with the poverty and everything, and of course that is there, but they're also, I mean, they have very sophisticated cultures and very sophisticated ideals, and it's just everyone that I met in many different countries now, that is the universal thread of and it's of people being very engaged in being involved, and they're just wonderful people.
Yeah, it's truly fascinating going around the world with our Zoom. But
Yeah.
anyway, are there? Do you want to sum this up, because our show's almost ended, and yeah, too bad.
Well, interestingly enough, I can sum it up with, because next week's guest is Dr. Barton Rubenstein. And the way I met him is through one of our other weekend team leaders, his name is Didier, and he's a lawyer, activist, humanitarian, and he's in Burundi. And he put together this really incredible webinar along with the aid of Dr. Barton Rubenstein. And being a speaker at this webinar, through that time, I met Tumani. So Tumani and I got together, and then we were joining in with Weekend back several years ago, and we were forming how this is going to look. And then he said, you have to meet Dr. Robert Mwesigye. And so then we brought Dr. Robert in, and then look what he's done in Uganda, and what Tumani's done in Tanzania, and then Eric in Rwanda, and then we have Botswana, and it's just amazing. Anyway, that person, Dr. Barton Rubenstein, is an environmentalist, and he founded this project called the Mother Earth Project. And it's all about using parachutes, not the kind like you jump out of the sky, you know, holding onto, but the kind that you decorate and use as a way to spread the word about, you know, the environment. He's truly an amazing humanitarian and activist, and he's a sculptor, and he's just incredible. And you'll love finding out about the Mother Earth Project. And both, well, especially Tumani has really gotten his team together with that. The school kids have parachutes that they've decorated. They're doing murals on the sides of buildings. So he will be a fascinating guest next week. Dr.
Right.
Martin
We had
Rubenstein.
mentioned before Tumani got cut off. I don't know what happened. I guess it's the internet might not be.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how you should see how meetings are. Everybody's dropping off.
But anyway, he has a GoFundMe, which we should GoFundMe.
Yes, and we will
post it.
put that with the information.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay. In the meantime, our time is up. And I'd like to thank you, Tumani. Too bad you can't be aboard right now. You're lost someplace in computer space.
Yeah. Well, he and the other team members will be helping present during part of our MLK Manifesting the Dream event that we have with We the World to the end of February. So you'll be able to tune in and see more about what they're doing.
Okay. Looking forward to it.
Yes.
Speak to you later, kid. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
The objective of the organization We the World is to facilitate cooperation on a global scale amongst groups and individuals dedicated to implementing solutions to the many challenges we face on the planet at this time.